His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama was born at Taksir, a small hamlet in Amdo Province, Kumbum region, on 6 July 1935 to Chogyong and Tigi. Raised under the protection of Pandel Hamo, Hamutundrup was recognized as the undisputed reincarnation of the great 13th Dalai Lama and brought to Lhasa at the age of 5 to be enthroned in the Potala Palace. While undergoing his monastic studies, the Chinese government began illegally invading Tibet's Kham and Amdo regions. In 1950, the Tibetan troops stationed at Chamdo suffered defeat under the marauding Chinese army. As a result of the invasion, the Tibetan political administration, economy, and the general Tibetan society underwent a severe crisis, like an oil-exhausted lamp flickering in its last dying flame. At such a critical period in Tibet's history, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, at the tender age of 16, was compelled by circumstances to shoulder the spiritual and temporal leadership of Tibet. In 1951, under threats of further Chinese military invasion, the so-called 17-point agreement was thrusted upon the Tibetan people. However, His Holiness the Dalai Lama's efforts to initiate reforms in Tibet was curtailed by the Chinese government. Barely a few years after taking the political responsibility of Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama embarked on an official visit to China and India in 1954 and 56, respectively, and met the leaders of the two Asian giants. Based on his experiences and observations of the two different forms of political systems in democratic India and communist China, His Holiness the Dalai Lama made earnest efforts to coexist harmoniously with the Chinese in abidance with the 17-point agreement for 8 long years. However, in March 1959, sensing an inevitable threat to the life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama from the Chinese troops stationed in Lhasa, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, followed by about 80,000 Tibetans, escaped into exile in India, Nepal, and Bhutan. After coming into exile, most Tibetans initially worked as road construction laborers in India. Despite the enormous hardships of food, clothing, and shelter in the early days of exile, under the vision and guidance of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, gradually established Tibetan settlements, schools, and monasteries on the land leased by the Indian government. Those institutions now serve as the custodian of Tibetan national identity. In 1960, His Holiness the Dalai Lama brought about a major democratic reform in the Gandhi government by instituting the first Tibetan parliament composed of representatives from all 3 provinces and religious schools of Tibet. This laid the foundation of the nascent Tibetan democracy in exile, and it was done with the foresight to empower the Tibetan public to perform its own political and administrative functions in the long run. In 1959, 61, and 65, consequent to emphatic international lobbying on Tibet, the United Nations General Assembly passed 3 resolutions on Tibet. In 1963, His Holiness made a proclamation of the Constitution for Future Tibet. In 1967, in the heat of China's devastating cultural revolution, His Holiness embarked on his first international visit from exile to Thailand and Japan. In 1974, following a visit to Europe in 1973, His Holiness discussed with the then exiled Tibetan leadership to explore ways to resolve the Sino-Tibetan conflict through dialogue based on the middle way approach. In 1979, while His Holiness was on a visit to the US, China was going through a brief respite from the political turmoil of the past due to a series of liberal reforms. Coinciding with these liberal reforms, Deng Xiaoping expressed a desire to negotiate, and the first Sino-Tibetan contact was established after a gap of 20 years. This renewed Sino-Tibetan contact led to several exploratory talks and fact-finding missions to Tibet. It also allowed reunion of Tibetans inside and outside Tibet, which enhanced restoration of Tibetan monasteries and reinvigoration of the monastic community, which had been undermined by the Cultural Revolution. It also led to a brief period of revival of Tibetan Buddhism, Tibetan language, education, and Tibetan arts, culture, and tradition. All these are a clear outcome of the passionate efforts initiated by the 10th Panchen Lama, Shuj Genzen, as well as other Tibetan spiritual leaders, scholars, and the general Tibetan public. As a result of the 5-point peace plan and the Strasbourg proposal made by His Holiness the Dalai Lama at the US Congress in 1987 and the European Parliament in 1988, respectively, and his firm commitment to resolve the Tibet issue through the mutually beneficial middle way approach, His Holiness garnered immense international respect and recognition. For these efforts, His Holiness the Dalai Lama was also awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, which heralded an upsurge in international support for Tibet. The year 1991 was marked as the International Year of Tibet, and in 1997, a special coordinator for Tibetan issues was appointed in the US State Department. In 2002, the Tibet Policy Act was adopted by the US government. 2 years earlier, a resolution on the Sino-Tibetan dialogue was passed in the European Parliament on the birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Various other democratic nations, along with the governments and public, have expressed strong support and solidarity with the Tibet issue. The singular reason that the Tibet issue has been able to stay alive throughout the world is because of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's deep commitment and promotion of universal moral values. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is an international advocate of world peace and a stalwart of morality and interfaith harmony. His Holiness is also deeply committed to the Tibet issue, particularly the preservation of Tibetan culture and religion and conservation of Tibet's environment. As part of his 4 main commitments in life, including the revival of ancient Indian knowledge such as epistemology, philosophy, meditation, and secular ethics, His Holiness has traveled across 60 countries on 300 different occasions and have met over 490 world leaders, including presidents, prime ministers, chief ministers, judges, leaders of political parties, and spiritual leaders of different religious traditions. His Holiness has also delivered speeches at over 60 renowned universities and research institutes and has received over 140 awards, including 50 honorary degrees in the US alone. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is also the recipient of over 150 global awards, including the Nobel Peace Prize, UN Environment Award, US Congressional Gold Medal, and John Templeton Award. As part of his equitable care to all Tibetan Buddhist monasteries and his efforts to revive the Nalanda tradition. His Holiness made annual visits to Bodh Gaya and other Tibetan Buddhist monasteries to impart sacred teachings. His Holiness has also conferred 34 Kalachakra teachings and has recognized at least 1,337 reincarnations from all the schools of Tibetan Buddhism between 1960 and 2020. His Holiness has also administered at least 4,203 novice vows and 16,126 full ordination vows to Tibetan Buddhist monks. In order to make Tibetan Buddhism compatible with modern science, His Holiness Dalai Lama has engaged in discussion with numerous scientists and philosophers for the benefit of the entire sentient beings. His Holiness has also initiated interfaith dialogues and has advised the need to inculcate science education in Tibetan monastic schools, which are being practiced by Tibetan monasteries now. His Holiness is also highly revered by the people in the Himalayan regions who share a common Tibetan Buddhist culture, as well as by Buddhists in Southeast Asia and Mongolia. The deep-rooted harmony and unity between spiritual leaders of the various schools of Tibetan Buddhism and the strong belief in Tibetan national identity among the Tibetan people is also unprecedented since the disintegration of the Tibetan Empire. This is a testament to His Holiness the Dalai Lama's visionary leadership of Tibet. In the exiled Tibetan community, there is almost no one who has not received teachings from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is the root guru for almost every Tibetan. And as disciples, we need to understand and implement the essence of his teachings and abide by the guidance and blessings offered by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The level of education and economic condition of the exiled Tibetan community has also improved considerably since the early days of exile. Tibetans are now relatively self-sufficient. This is also a fruit of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 60 years of hard work and fundraising efforts that was done either directly or through the Central Tibetan Administration with countries like India and US, as well as with international aid groups. The Tibetan people must not only realize, but also remember the benevolence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. However, a few misguided individuals, instead of expressing gratitude, resorts to baseless denigration of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. As expressed many times earlier, we shall resolutely face these challenges firmly and effectively. Fervent prayers will also be offered to the two state oracles of the virtuous Tibetan protector deities to peacefully combat these bad deeds and aspirations. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is one of the foremost guides of our time and is one of the few individuals who can reorient Sino-Tibetan history towards a positive direction. The Chinese government should therefore recognize that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is the key to resolving the Sino-Tibetan conflict. It should utilize the opportunity offered by the mutually beneficial middle way approach to foster a harmonious environment where Tibetans and Chinese can coexist amicably. Therefore, we appeal to the Chinese government to earnestly invite His Holiness the Dalai Lama to Tibet and China on pilgrimage without any preconditions. For over 60 years, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has made tireless efforts through the 4 phases of democratic evolution to establish the administration, represented by members of all the 3 provinces of Tibet and the different religious traditions. Since this administration is for the benefit of all the provinces and religious traditions, for an effective and efficient administration, we need a system of governance that is based on the rule of law rather than individual. Rule of law is the first prerequisite to foster a just and equitable society. Deviating from this commitment by delaying or compromising will not only go against the basic tenets of democracy, but also against meaningful democracy. When we face disagreements on political positions and ideals, we should find solutions from the provisions of the Tibetan Charter. The Tibetan Charter is the lifeline of Tibetan democracy, without which there cannot be equality and justice. Neither can such a democracy sustain in the long run. Therefore, I urge everyone to pay serious attention to these issues. When it comes to our struggle, we must recognize our common opponent and work towards resolving our differences by engaging in constructive discussions. Our consolidated efforts should be directed towards fulfilling our common goals, which is the mandatory and historic responsibility of the exiled Tibetan people. The exiled Tibetan community is an outcome of political circumstances and not economic conditions. We are a people with the responsibility to fight for our cause and not merely to make a living. Consolidating our united effort is the fundamental basis to strengthen the Tibetan political movement. Under whatever circumstances or conditions, we cannot remain entangled in past mistakes and should move forward and not backwards based on legal provisions. The Kashag, on its part, will perform its functions of fulfilling its objectives with deep-rooted conviction and faith in the Tibetan Charter and the principle of check and balance amongst the three pillars of democracy. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has dedicated his entire lifetime to the welfare and upliftment of the sentient beings in general and welfare of the Tibetans in particular. Therefore, the Tibetan people also should study and practice the profound teachings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and refrain from engaging in any activities that will cause concern to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We should also abstain from partaking in unnecessary squabbles on social media and narrow partisan strife. The current global political climate offers a golden opportunity to highlight the Tibet issue. We should therefore duly proceed with His Holiness Dalai Lama's blessings in our heart to strengthen the Tibetan unity. That will be our greatest gift to His Holiness the Dalai Lama on this birthday, and I urge everyone to do the same. In conclusion, may His Holiness live for eons as per the aspirations of the living and will of the dying. May His Holiness the Dalai Lama be able to visit Tibet as soon as possible. May the Sino-Tibet conflict be resolved as early as possible, which will pave the way for the Tibetans inside and outside Tibet to reunite at the earliest. Thank you.